Today's question reflects a huge frustration that I know a lot of my audience has, and it's also a frustration for me to answer it, so let's just get it off both of our chests and answer it once and for all. Here's the question. Is 35 too late to start day game? Will I only get really good at like 39 or 40? So I understand where this question's coming from on about 10 different levels, and none of them are really good or useful, but it is an important question because it does get asked a lot and it is a concern that people have. And the idea here, I think, is a few things. Number one, there's this idea that as you get older, your habits get more ingrained and it gets harder to change them, right? This whole like, can you teach an old dog new tricks thing? And the answer to that question in the dog sense is yes, you can. It just takes longer because you have to unwind more habits. But yes, you can teach an old dog new tricks. All right, so that in that sense, yes, it can be done. Yes, you can learn at that age. The second question, the way it's phrased, is am I gonna run out of time? Is there some sort of runway, and if I don't hit the end of it at enough speed, I'm gonna crash? Will I only be good at 39 or 40? Well, I would ask the asker of this question, so what if you get good at 39 or 40? Is that a problem? I'm currently 41, and granted, yes, I would say like I'm not just good at this, I'm probably at hopefully a world-class level at this point, but I am dating more attractive, more eligible girls now than I ever have at any point in my life, even when I was in my 20s and good at this, or in my 30s and good at this, right? So it's not like, you jump off a cliff at 40 and there's no more social life for you. Right? There's plenty of social life past 40, even if you did take till 39 or 40 to get good at this. So that's not really a deal breaker either. But my biggest answer to this question is this. What do you mean when you say, I will only get good or really good by 39 or 40? Because here's the truth about game. Every single step of the way, every single bit of progress you make, your life gets better. And actually, at the start, you're making tremendous leaps and your life is getting enormously better, okay? When I first started approaching girls, granted, yes, I was 18, not 35, but when I first started approaching girls, it was utterly and absolutely life-changing. I was a different person 3 months into it than I was 3 months before, and that is not an exaggeration. I had different motivation, I saw the world differently, I made fewer excuses, I found more and better and creative solutions. I saw the things that I was learning in game affecting the rest of my life and making me better at social skills in general, better at sales, better at handling adversity. What game will do for you quickly is absolutely out of this world. It's absolutely insane what game will do for you quickly, even if you don't get to an advanced level at it. Every step along the way, every bit of growth you're gonna get in game, especially the early stuff, is life-changing, right? So yeah, if you could start at 35 and it would take you to 40 to be advanced or world-class or whatever, which by the way, it shouldn't even take that long if you're really dedicated, but let's assume it would take you that long. Well, who cares? Because in 3 months or 6 months, you still will have made massive progress. And in 3 months or 6 months, you'll be getting more dates. And let's say that you started doing day game and you started getting more comfortable talking to girls and more charismatic, and you didn't even get a lot of dates from day game. But let's say you were getting a slow trickle of dates from your social circle throughout your life. You would probably triple or quadruple or quintuple or 10 times that just from doing day game and from being more social as well, right? And maybe you're 10 timesing 1 date a year and now it's 10 dates a year. Still a pretty damn big improvement. The point is this. If you're looking at it as like, okay, I have to get to expert level, and that's my be all and end all, and that's all I want out of game, that's not understanding fundamentally how beautiful game is. Because the thing about game is every single step is such an enhancement. Getting from low-level beginner to high-level beginner will change your life. Getting from high-level beginner to intermediate will absolutely, completely turn your life upside down in a good way. And getting from intermediate to advanced will take everything in your life to this insane, ridiculous level. That's how powerful game is as a tool for growth, not only with women, but in everything. Also, by the way, it should not take you 4 to 5 years to start seeing massive, massive progress. Now, depending what you consider really good, if you consider really good world class, yeah, it may take you, a long time to get there. But to get to 80% of world class doesn't take really that long. What you learn in game early on is truly life-changing, right? When you learn not to supplicate, that will change your life. When you learn that it's okay to talk to strangers and that there aren't huge consequences from that, that will change your life in so many ways, not just with women. When you learn how to spark attraction on command, as opposed to just crossing your fingers and waiting and hoping for a girl to like you, it will blow your mind, first of all. It will also change how you walk through the world in a way that you will never go back. Don't think of game as this binary, either I have 0 or I have 1, right? I either have game or I don't have game. That's opposite from the way I did it the other way. But regardless, it's not something you either have or don't have. There's this huge gray area, and every step of gray, every shade of gray along that gray area is massive life progress. So I really want to emphasize, I think I've said that 6 different ways at this point, but if you're viewing game the way that the asker of this question is viewing game, you're not getting anywhere near the value you're going to out of game. Just to give you my perspective on this as someone that's seen people grow in game, I'm going to give you a similar but different question that I think we all know the answer to, and I want to show you how they're very similar, right? If someone were to come to you and let's say they are massively out of shape, they're obese and in poor health, and they really are like, starting to become sickly and get diseases from being in poor health. And they're like, look, I'm 35. Is it too late for me to get in shape? Is it too late for me to get in the gym? And the answer is, it is probably too late for them to become an Olympic athlete. That ship has probably sailed. That ship probably sailed a couple decades ago, and it probably sailed about 100 pounds ago, right? They are not going to become a world-class athlete. However, getting in the gym and getting in shape is probably the single best thing they can do and one of the single most important decisions they can make. And if they, started at, let's say, 400 pounds and they got themselves down to 300 over a course of many years, that would be tremendous for their life. And they would still be overweight, and they would still be out of shape, and they would still not be a world-class athlete, but their life would be so much better, right? The question is, okay, I'm 35, is it too late? Well, look, it would have been better if you started earlier. Yes, it would have been better if you started earlier. That would have been great, but you can't. You can't go back in time. Nobody has a time machine. And think of it this way. If you're worried that 35 is too late, ask yourself this. If I get to 45, how much worse is that, right? So whatever time it is the right time for you to start game. In the same way that whatever moment it is the right time for you to start getting healthy and getting in shape. And yes, it would have been great if you lived your whole life healthy. And yes, it would have been great if you learned game from, a mentor when you were 2 years old and never even had to study it formally because it was just like in your bones, right? That would be great. But if you're not there, you have to make the right decision from the place where you are. And the answer to both those questions, I'll give you a third one as well, right? Should I get fit? And when should I start? Yes, and now. Should I start being financially better? And when should I start working on it? Yes, and now. And third one, should I start working on game and when? Yes, and now. Okay? These are massive areas of growth in your life. And yeah, it would have been great if you started them earlier in all cases. But since you didn't, and since you're at this moment, the best decision you can make is to start now. Okay, so that answers the main part of this question. Because it is sort of obliquely asked, I'll answer this as well. How long will it really take you to get to a decent level in game? If you are a typical beginner, and again, all beginners are different. Some beginners have like literally no social experience of any kind, and they lived like under a rock their whole lives. Some beginners are actually really good with, guys, and social situations are just not particularly good with girls. And those are two very different cases. However, for just about any beginner who's dedicated and willing to put in the work to get to intermediate, you should be able, within a period of less than a year, to get to a place where if you're willing to do enough approaches, you can predictably get into relationships with cute, desirable girls. You should be able to do at least that within a year if you're willing to put your ego aside, do the work, and be smart about it. And by the way, for a lot of you, it'll be a lot quicker. So that's the extreme case. We're talking within a year. Some of you, it could be weeks or months, for sure. It depends how hard you want to work, how smart you want to work, and it depends a little bit where you're starting from. But really, if you commit to this journey, you can get there, and you can get there a lot faster than you think. And again, as I mentioned before, the rewards along the way will be amazing and will keep you on the journey. Final note, if you are starting game at 35, I'm not gonna blow smoke up your ass and say that it's better that you're starting now than if you start younger. However, I will say you do probably have some advantages over starting younger because you're probably more established in the world. You probably have a better job, you probably have a better financial situation, you probably have more life experience and more things you can bring into a girl's life than you did when you were younger. So in that sense, your progress actually should be faster. Yes, it would have been nice to have started sooner. I'm not gonna lie, that would have been the case. But you do have some advantages being an older guy as well, so don't overlook those. So all you old farts, get out there. There's no excuse. By the way, if you're 35, you're actually younger than me, so I'm the old fart. But yeah, get out there, take action. It's the right thing to do. Start, and start now, please, for yourself. So that was actually more fun to answer than I thought it was gonna be. If you have questions, post them below and I will get to those questions. That is where I get a lot of the content for that channel. Thanks for being here. See you on the next one.